I love you, Brendan. You're doing a really good job. I know that conscious me has made some questionable decisions regarding general care. I wanted to assume and believe that it was. I knew it wasn't a pimple. I popped it, and it was foolish. But next time I'm not going to do that. And I'm sorry that it spread to other parts of the body, and that we didn't do maybe the best job. See, lots of technical details, but the main thing is, one, I, conscious me, really appreciate you, total Brendan. You're doing a good job. You kept the infection down to the places it needed to be. You built this little volcano mouth spit it up deal, and that was very useful. You've been doing a good job of kicking them out. And now, I think unconscious me feels a little betrayed and feels the need to feel some fear. Both because of internet things and because neglect got me in trouble in the first. Conscious neglect brought me a little trouble in the first place, and so now I think I'm a little mistrustful of my own conscious beliefs. Which is not even a bad thing, because it's good to have these feelings too. And it's good because, the fear keeps me on point. But panic attacks are too much, and definitely starting to feel panicky. And it might be, I bet it's not uncontributed by,
You got any mail for $3.83?
You got any mail for $3.83? Oh, I don't do mail. Stop and say hi. All right. What are we talking about? Oh, general appreciation. Man. Hold on. Oh no, now we got a big problem. My leg hurts a little bit, but that's okay. We'll loop around and let's drag this out forever. I do have some fear, but I can feel the fear, and the fear is okay. It's funny. Oh man, I pulled this thing out too far. So now the sweatshirt needs to be... Nah, it's fine. Pull it back through. I need to calm down. I can feel a little panicky right now. I love you, Brendan. We're all looking out for you. You're doing a good job. Even if this is your big fatal mistake, you've done a good job, and I love you, and I really appreciate you, no matter what things happen. But let's be real. You'd probably feel a lot worse if your blood was infected. Oh, and I think you're starting to make up some symptoms because you're cooped up all day and there's a general anxiety and a lot of talk about medical stuff, and the hospital seems scary because you don't have insurance, I don't think. I'd have to check. And also because this hospital is probably a 1,000,000-year wait. All that. So, it feels like you're on your own. And maybe I am on my own, but I've always been a little on my own. But I've also always had people looking out for me even when I didn't realize it or believe it. It's probably really bad for the lens. Probably should use one of those microfiber things. Whatever. What's that look like? I don't know if I've been zoomed in. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Mostly audio. Alright. Main things. Feels really nice to walk around outside. Always a good idea to go outside. I think I need some fresh air and some sun. I have a general appreciation for the way that Brendan's been doing, even though things are kind of hard. And they're hard in a bunch of fronts, so that makes some sense. And I think we've been fairly productive. I got that album art, made that music video. We got some stuff done. Oh, we did that fun collab real quick, Patty. Lots of stuff. All right, so you're doing things. There's things outside of your control. But that doesn't mean that we can't find peace in this moment. And even if it is the worst case scenario, the fear doesn't help. And at a certain point, I appreciate the fear because also it is part of the me looking out for me. And it's the one saying, don't be lax and maybe, conscious mind, think about that. But there can be sicknesses of all kinds, and it got loopy. Definitely got loopy. There's no way panic attacks are the way. So let's just take a deep breath. This idea I've been kind of thinking about lately. I think it's motivated by some physics, but it's kind of a little bit conjecture. Mostly philosophy. Here's the philosophy. It doesn't have any practical impacts, but all right, here's how it works. So there's no real reason physically why there's directed time, yet experience indicates that there certainly is directed time. But physics-wise, it looks like time seems to just be the same as other dimensions. So what if instead of there being the stream of time, we're a four-dimensional creature, and this is sort of like a wave of experience. And so this in order for life to exist, it's figured out this way to kind of surf time space. In actuality, you are a four-dimensional creature, and your entire life's happened, or whatever, it happens at once. But the nature of it is defined by this sort of recursive thinking about itself and deciding to anchor onto time and sort of ride a wave of electromagnetic, well, all of them, a wave of energy force that would be electromagnetic and whatever in nature, your kept neurons and all that. Well, the whole thing, the whole structure. And I think that makes some sense because life tends to feel it's often about balance, finding balance, that riding a bike feeling. It seems often you can go too far in two directions, and there's a way to kind of surf that's ideal for music or skateboarding. And so I think it might be because life in general is just sort of finding these rhythms and finding. And I think a lot of life's gotten pretty good at the bass rhythm, and then they the whole evolutionary aspect is finding these sub-rhythms that are really cool, because kind of really good music is in time, trivially. Bad music and good, medium to good music is all in time or whatever. But then good music will kind of do more within that space. I think that's what a lot of life is about, doing what you can within the space, during riding the wave in these cool ways. And it's also understanding that the wave of your entire life, there's each day is its own sort of wave, and there's this bigger wave. A lot of it's sine waves on sine waves, with maybe in some sort of hyperbolic direction somewhere, since things seem to be getting better in general, despite general spooks. People get spooked out. Everything comes in cycles, but no one thing is you have the balance of your mind. So I have this anxiety part, but I also have these other parts that tell me getting outside and getting the sun and talking to a camera will help me pull out of perhaps obsessive loops or loops that we're caught in and make sure that the loop itself is right. Because once you're in a loop, it like consumes your mind. It's like seems like the total reality. How could anyone else be missing this obvious point? Because like it's all I can think about. You start to like think that it's like this bigger and bigger and bigger deal. So, and sometimes it is. So it's like not. It's like a good process. Like sometimes the tiger's gonna fucking gnaw your throat out, and you need to be 100% on that. But I think we're a little overly primed for that due to our primal nature. And so it's also important to take a step back and look, and not just like fear anything. Like you can get manic about it too. Anything that feels like a little obsessive or recursive, or you keep having the same thing, like pull out and make sure, oh, do I really need to be thinking about this right now, or is this kind of like a waste of time? Because it's easy not to see how our thoughts are a waste of time because they're not external, easy to excuse. But we can waste a lot of time thinking about essentially nothing or doing the same thoughts over and over again. It's really important to be like mindful. Mindful is the whole process of appreciating the recursive nature of the human brain. Yeah. One interesting thought is if this is in fact like a wave, you could even argue that there's like many you, like you are one experiential wave. In fact, I could even see that being, you know, sort of like way to like try to merge physics and like reincarnation theory. I don't think it has the I don't think so. I don't really actually believe that. But, well, it doesn't matter. Or I would argue it's unfalsifiable. It's unfalsifiable. So I'm not sure if the whole thing is. But for some reason, the idea that life is riding a wave feels like it makes me help. It makes me help. I think I like it, even if it's a fiction, because it emphasizes that balance. A lot of people are on about balance, so balance seems like a good thing, and it feels right. It always feels like, and because balance can get weird, like it's interesting, because sometimes in order to, like balance doesn't mean like staying straight in the middle the whole time, right? Like a cool skateboarder will do these crazy things with balance, right? They'll like push balance to its very edge. They'll be doing these things that seem almost physically impossible. But they prove that they are possible, and if they're possible, anyone can do them. And you start to realize how much space a wave can be. And, you know, realizing your potential, that's definitely like a big life thing. Or like growing, and like learning, repeating, but like not just doing the same mistakes over and over again. And then, like, yeah, you gotta look out for those mistakes, like the thought mistake, like, oh, I can't do it. That's bullshit. For sure. Like, it, or it's maybe, you know, sometimes it's not, but it you know, like right now, like my legs are hurt, so it's hard for me to do certain things with my legs. So, you know, legitimately I'll be like annoyed that I can't do certain things, but it's more can't because like in the long run it's better for me and then I'll be able to. Or if like someone's just missing their legs, you're probably not gonna be able to skateboard. Maybe even then with like prosthetics, who knows? See, that's the thing. Yeah, I keep an open mind. But like, okay, but like, you know, in your heart of hearts, if you're talking about like a true hard limit, or if it's sort of a soft can't, if it's like a can't that comes from because I'm like intrinsically bad or because I'm not good enough, because that's the language of like the self-defeating altruist, who's not really an altruist. And they're lonely, something. We're home. This is good, I think. Still a little scared.